Thank you everyone that has come to my channel and subscribed. My current subscribers, my new subscribers, and I just want to let you know I have hit another milestone. We are sitting about 170 plus vested up subscribers. So thank you so much for coming to the channel, for watching all the videos, for the very intriguing and insightful comments that I have received this week. And keep making those comments. It's definitely creating some type of buzz in the atmosphere. I like those vibrations. Let's keep pushing. We got something to talk about today. Go get your notes, your drink, and your vest, and hold one. I definitely want to have a very interesting conversation about week 9 of the NFL. So as you know, just to recap, everyone knows Shedeur has not received any playing time in the NFL. So at this moment, on this week, that I think that he will eventually make his first official NFL appearance on the NFL stage. If you don't know, his offensive line wasn't up to par in Colorado, and he was the most sacked quarterback in collegiate history. Yes, collegiate history. So if Shedeur doesn't play this week, which I definitely want him to play for my own selfish reasons and just for us just to see him make his dream a reality. And if he doesn't play this week, I'm definitely going to contribute that to the back injury that he did sustain in Colorado in the 2023 season. At that time, Shedeur had been sacked roughly over 50 something times. Of course, the body is not built to get hit so many times, which is why they do so much physical therapy and physical training and physical fitness, conditioning and strengthening. When we watched that on the field and we heard the news as CU fans, we were definitely sending prayers out to Shedeur, because that was a very serious injury that he did sustain on the field. I think he also missed maybe 1 or 2 different games in that particular year because of the back injury. So when it came out 2 weeks ago before the bye week that Shedeur was not going to play against the Patriots because of his back injury, of course, we thought it was suspicious, because 24 hours before that news came out, he was on the field stretching, just being Shedeur. And then it came out before the game started, Shedeur was actually on the field warming up with the team, which is why more people deemed it as a conspiracy or a falsehood regarding his back issue. But when you watch the video of him surprising his dad at Colorado University when they just played against the Arizona Wildcats, he went there to support his dad and the team, yes, but he also went there to receive treatment from the Colorado Buffalo medical team. So that also says a lot. I don't think he trusts the medical team at the Cleveland Browns facility. I don't blame him. But for him to go there and also seek treatment and get treatment from the medical personnel, I definitely took notice of that. So if Shedeur doesn't play this week, even though I do want him to play November the 9th, I totally understand. His body and his health should be number one priority. As we know, of course, he may not be showing it, but mentally he is definitely taking a beating. So I definitely don't want him to go out on field already mentally strained, mentally abused, and then he's out there when his body is not ready to, sustain any type of hits, especially the back, and the worst happens. Paralysis, major damage. I definitely don't want to put that in the atmosphere, but if he doesn't play, I definitely will contribute that to the back injury that he sustained a few years ago. With that being said, I want us to always remember that these athletes are humans. They have families. They have emotions. They have feelings. They are not robots. They're someone that looks at life just like we look at life. and nothing is guaranteed. So I understand why he may want to go out there and live his dream, because tomorrow is not promised. And then I'm going to get into why they should play him, because the pressure that Kevin Stefanski in this whole entire thing is just a tool that they have used. I think maybe the higher ups have used, or he have just created this atmosphere on his own for whatever reason he has against Shedeur. He's going through mental trauma also. I've heard well-known retired NFL quarterback Sean King states that Kevin Stefanski's mental state is in shambles now. RG3 also made a comment regarding that. And Cam Newton even made a comment about how Kevin Stefanski mental. Hey, Kevin is losing it too. He may not be showing it, but Kevin is losing it mentally. So I tell you what, watch this clip. Watch these clips.
Kevin Stefanski is never going to give Shedeur Sanders an opportunity. He's not. And I think I understand the assignment now. You look at this game, and Kevin Stefanski is almost like the captain on the ship of the Titanic. He's going down with the ship. His way, nobody else's way. Myles Garrett just set a franchise record with 5 sacks in a game, and they lost 32-13 because Kevin Stefanski is not what's doing in the best interest of the team. Now, why do I say that? When your coach comes out and doesn't hold the starting quarterback accountable for not playing well, regardless of whether he is a young quarterback or not, doesn't watch the film and immediately comes out in the press conference and says, I'm going to stick with Dillon Gabriel.
Coach Stefanski knows that it's going to take time.
That's true.
Coach Stefanski knows that it's going to take time.
That's true.
You have to have grace with growth. When you have a situation that you have in Cleveland where you traded your veteran quarterback, now you're forced to be in this situation where you have to be patient. Once again, have grace with growth. And Coach Stefanski knows that the worst thing that you could do is alter a person's confidence by putting that person on a short leash.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is give all grace to say, hey, this is your team. This is your job to lose, right? But here's my question to Coach Stefanski. How long are you willing to wait? Because if we keep losing games, what are we really doing?
Yeah.
Because for sake of conversation, it ain't like Shedeur Sanders or Bailey Zappi can do any worse. Y'all still losing.
Yeah. Sooner or later,
they're going to have to really realize, like, hold on, dog.
We just got to see what we got in the locker room.
While having grace, big dog, you're losing games. And tick, 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 tick. You're on the clock. And even though that's the ticking time of a clock, it can also be the ticking time of a bomb. So, be very mindful of the games that you play. I understand the tactic and I understand the protocol. But ladies and gentlemen, Coach Stefanski, that time is ticking for you to have to make a decision. I can't believe what you're saying if I'm seeing what you're doing, which means actions speak louder than words. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland. I don't know what Shedeur Sanders is doing or is not doing. But change has to come on all levels, not just the quarterback position. It may be in the coach position too.
Yeah.
But you live with that decision, you die with that decision. Keep going, baby.
But what I was saying, even with Kevin Stefanski, coaches, and you talked about the coaches and quarterback relationship, the marriage they have, and it's like you gotta. Why is it an issue that Stefanski wouldn't lose or win his own way? Dillon Gabriel is quote unquote his guy, and I don't know if you believe in conspiracy theories, but this is a stat where this came out that Kevin Stefanski has the same agent as Dan Lanning, Brent Venables, Gus Malzahn, on all former college coaches of Dylan Gabriel. All right, so they represented by the same agent. Some people, in theory, like, oh, that might be something, but that's just, throwing stuff in the air. But with your quarterback and the responsibility as a coach, wouldn't you choose to pick your guy? Or if I'm going to go down a burning building, I'm going to go down my way versus listening to the media, listening to other people?
Understood. But this is the thing that fans must understand, too. Mm-hmm. Even with the climate of the talent or the skill set in Cleveland, I don't think Shedeur will be any better. I don't believe in the talent that's around at the receiver position. I don't think they have.
Now, I totally disagree with that comment.
So no matter who's in the spot.
It don't matter who it is.
I disagree.
Do I think Shedeur Sanders is capable of making an impact on any team? Absolutely.
Yes.
But I would hate for Shedeur to be pointed at as, I told you, he ain't no different either. Yeah. Because when you look at the Cleveland Browns play, it's like, it's not just bad quarterback play. It's bad football play offensively as a whole, as a collective.
Yeah. So is it Stefanski's fault or is upper
It's
management?
the situation that's at hand. We need our players to produce.
Yeah.
And nobody is producing. Go ahead.
That clip was very interesting. And I am going to bring up that clip from Sean King. That's a very smaller clip, but it's several things I want to point out to you. As you can see, Cam Newton is also vested up. So, hey, Vesters, hey, just let us know we are many and we are plentiful. Cam Newton was even vested up. That's just a side joke. But this is what I also want to bring up regarding that clip. He pointed out something correct, which I pointed out about 3 weeks ago when I first started my channel, when they were in, I think, week 4, week 5 of the NFL. Even at that time, Cleveland had a losing record. What harm would it have done, even back then, to put Shedeur in? And I would compromise and say, okay, you don't have to make him the starting quarterback, but at least give Shedeur some reps. They were losing. In one game, they were losing by 30 points. They still wouldn't put him in. Then the next game, they were up by 30 points and they still wouldn't put him in. So, just aggravating. Then Cam Newton also talked about grace. Kevin Stefanski is attempting to give Dylan grace, being a young rookie quarterback. He's trying to give him so many opportunities to prove himself that he have earned the role of QB1. But I beg the question, where is Shedeur's grace in this matter? Shedeur has, as I pointed earlier, Shedeur has feelings. Shedeur has worked hard. Shedeur have invested his childhood, his high school, his collegiate years to being a NFL quarterback. Where's his grace in this matter? And then do you see when Peggy, that's the other gentleman that was speaking, Cam Newton, when he started talking about it came out 2 weeks ago or the week of the bye, Kevin's agent is the same agent for Dylan Gabriel, college coaches. A lot of people said, oh yeah, that's coming in the NFL, that's coming in other industries. But just because it's common doesn't make it right. And it is indications of conflict of interest. So you have 2 rookie quarterbacks on one team. Dylan Gabriel has got 4 games, awful performances. The conflict of interest is highly resonating with everyone that is watching this story unfolds. It is so bad, as you see, Kevin Stefanski, it was reported 2 weeks ago that he would rather get fired than give Shedeur any playing time for the Cleveland Browns. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. This head coach of the Cleveland Browns, I think he's at least been in the NFL 10 to 15 years. He would rather get fired than play Shedeur Sanders. So this is another indication that Shedeur should play this week to release this pressure. The pressure that is mounting against this team and against Kevin Stefanski, it's almost like an abomination that they have caused against themselves. That's how much pressure is on this team, this management, and especially the head coach. Did you see what RG three stated in that video. Kevin Stefanski is not mentally well. He know he's going down because his interest is in playing Dillon Gabriel, I think, for many reasons, even ones behind the scenes. Who knows? He may be even getting kickbacks. Who knows? Who knows what deals have that he's already made in the background regarding playing Shedeur or playing Dillon more? Who knows? Cam Newton wouldn't even answer Peggy's question when he talked about this agent relation type of thing. Did you see how Cam Newton, he didn't even respond to that. He pivoted. So that was another indication that something there. Cam Newton is stating that something is wrong in Cleveland, something that we all know. And in order to fix that, all Kevin has to do is just play Shedeur, which November the 9th would be the perfect time to ease this pressure, because it's going to be like boiling water, especially if Dillon gets out there and continues to regress in his performance. Look at this. 2 weeks ago, Kevin considered, I even reported on this about 2 weeks ago, he considered giving the calling plays for the offensive team, which is another indicator that, hey, a change will come and Shedeur may get on this field this week. Okay? So let's not think that Kevin had this power to sort of continue to call plays or not. No. This came from up higher. I think even upper management has said, okay, Kevin, this is enough. Either you're going to let him play, Shedeur play, or we're going to sit you down, fire you. But if you still want to remain head coach of the Cleveland Browns, you got to get up playing calls. Trust me, Kevin Stefanski had to give up something. Either he had to give up Dillon or he had to give up calling the plays. And you see what the decision was, because Tommy Reese now is the official play caller for the Cleveland Browns. Yes. Those powers have been taken away from Kevin Stefanski. He will no longer be calling plays for the Cleveland Brown offense. The Cleveland Brown offense is in the toilets at the moment. You can't go no lower than what they currently are. And Tommy Reeves, he loves Shedeur. He has bragged on Shedeur in previous media conferences. So this is a very good indicator that he's going to play this weekend. Let me tell you why. Let me let you listen to this. Oh, and before I do, this is not the first time that Kevin Stefanski had to give up play calling duties. Okay, this is actually the second time he's had to give up play calling duties, which means that he shouldn't be doing it. There's a reason why you have head coaches. There's a reason why you have offensive coordinators. Kevin, why would you, if they took away your powers last year, you should have known that should have been an indicator. Basically, he should have took the hint last year, but he didn't. But because Dillon came on board, and I guess because, everybody knows everybody, he got a hidden relationship in the background with the agent and Dillon. And yes, Kevin Stefanski, best friend, golfing buddy, was Dillon Gabriel's coach in Oregon. Yes, that is another relationship. Kevin Stefanski, best friend and golfing buddy, is Dillon Gabriel's coach, was his coach at Oregon. So the article goes on to state that this is the second time that Kevin Stefanski had to relinquish play calling duty. It also states that Tommy Reese will call plays Sunday from the 9th in the team's road game against the New York Jets. Cleveland Browns now have a record of 2-6. So what harm would it be just to throw Shedeur out there? Shedeur is going to make that appearance. Shedeur is going to make that appearance if his health is in the proper state that it should be in order to play. Like I said, I would love to see him play this weekend for many reasons. But Shedeur, if your back is not going to sustain any type of potential hits or sack, just stay out. Stay out until you are fully healed, because we care about you as the person, as the young man that you are, not the player. That's why I'm not highlighting any player photos of Shedeur in this video, because I want everyone to remember him as a human with feelings and flesh, blood, just like we are. He's not a robot. I just hate the way that they have done him in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski should not have been holding both duties or trying to execute both duties as a head coach and offensive coordinator. That's why you're paying millions of dollars to Tommy Rees to be there on the staff to call the plays. But now this rain on Dylan, this grace that Cam Newton was alluding to and stating that there's something wrong in Cleveland, Dylan Gabriel is on notice. He's just not there. Okay, so as of now, Dylan Gabriel has only completed 59.9% of his passes for 702 yards, 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the season. It actually should have been about 12 interceptions in the season. If you saw that game against I think it was the Steelers, most of those drop balls that defensive players dropped actually would have been interceptions if they could have held onto the ball. So that he actually should have had about 12 interceptions. Okay. But as of now, his QRB ranking is 26.9. This article states that his QRB rating is only above rookie Cam Ward, which I totally don't believe that. I think they're just trying to save face. But Dylan's at the bottom. And then in one of my other videos, I even talked about how even with a 2-6 record this year in Cleveland Browns, Dylan Gabriel's stats as a quarterback is worse than when Cleveland had a 0-16 record. Let me say that again. Dylan Gabriel's current stats is worse now than when the Cleveland Browns had a 0-16 record. Is out there in the open. I'm not even a Cleveland Browns fans before Shedeur came on site. But when I heard that, I said, well, so why Kevin still has him into the game? Conflict of interest. I'm gonna talk on that deep in another video. Trust me, I'm not gonna take too long. Now, in this article, Stefanski did confirm that Gabriel will continue to be the team's starting quarterback, but Shedeur's status is unknown at the time. I guess he's still getting some treatment for his back, and I think this is another indicator. Shedeur may not practice so much this week because he's getting more medical attention this week because he will get on the field, which I don't blame him. Shedeur has been, I think he's been over exhausting his body because, as you know, if you follow the story, Shedeur is doing extra workout sessions before practice. He's doing extra workout sessions after practice. He's doing extra workout sessions on the weekends. He's just continue to work out, which I think is also causing that strain in his lower back where he had that injury. Shedeur, just let your body rest. It has to catch up. It has to rest. I know you're a young man, but your body has to rest. If we in the military, if we used to get rest days off for our bodies, you have to rest your body also, Shedeur. If not, you are tearing it down and your body will decline from his current state, Shedeur. So last season, Kevin Stefanski did give up his playing college duty to then OC Ken Dorsey, which I heard Ken Dorsey was actually a pretty good OC, but because Kevin and Ken Dorsey had a very tumultuous relationship, Ken Dorsey left the Browns organization. Kevin is a force to deal with. I see Kevin Stefanski. He won't even call Shedeur's name. The draft. But let me go ahead and finish this video out with the clips that I want to show you from Sean King about Stefanski's mental state, and I also want to highlight Tommy Rees' sentiments regarding Shedeur's playing abilities. Hold on.
Because they didn't choose the path that I suggested, now we got to get to the root of the problem. Maybe the most egregious pick in all of the 2025 draft was the Browns taking Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. There's no way you can evaluate the quarterback position and have him rated as a higher prospect than Shedeur Sanders. There's no way that you can be an astute quarterback evaluator and think he was worthy of an asset as valuable as a 3rd round. We got to get to the root of the problem here. I mean, that was an egregious draft pick, and to die on the vine is very disappointing. And it's going to sound crazy what I'm about to say, but mathematically, it's possible. The Browns can still go 11-6. If you take the emotion out of it, they're still not that far away, especially considering that the entire division is in disarray. And if you win the division, you make the playoffs. They're 2-6, I think. 4-3 is first place. That was a terrible draft pick. Don't accelerate the mistake by continuing down the path that you never should have went down in the first place. It's time to go to Shedeur Sanders simply because he was a better prospect coming out of college than Dillon Gabriel. Is trying to die on this vine that what did you say? Dillon was the second-rated quarterback on his board in the draft.
Yep, yes,
like that might be the most. That's a fireable statement.
That's
for
what
a guy that's an offensive coach. That's a fireable statement. You guys made a mistake on draft day. Dillon Gabriel is not a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders. Like to die on this Dillon Gabriel vine is, to me, it's fireable.
And see, this further lets us know that the pressure is on and that Shedeur should start this week. Did you hear what Sean King has stated? If Kevin Stefanski does not want to get fired, he should pivot from Dillon and go to Shedeur because, as Sean King just stated, playing Dillon, falling on this sword that Kevin has put out there is a fireable offense. Dillon is just that bad. And Sean King also pointed out that even though Cleveland has a losing record 2-6, if you put Shedeur in there, who was a better prospect, as Sean King stated, he's not saying that Shedeur would be a better quarterback than Dillon because Cleveland hasn't allowed Shedeur to get on the field, so no one cannot evaluate Shedeur in the NFL. Even though they have a losing record of 2-6, Cleveland Browns can actually still win the division if they put in Shedeur. Basically, a change has to be made. A change has to be made. And closer to what Sean King states about Kevin Stefanski's mental state, which is another reason why Kevin should let Shedeur play. But as we know, the offensive coordinator now got the reins, so there is light at the end of this tunnel. Before I get to that point, what Sean King stated about Kevin's mental state, let's hear what he states about the locker room. If Kevin doesn't make this quarterback change, Kevin is already has lost the locker room. But if they doesn't make this change this week or very soon, let's say next week, the locker room is over. It's done. They have no more belief. The locker room will have no more belief in the Cleveland Browns head coach, football staff, management. And when you lose the locker room, you has lost everything.
They're not gonna believe that if you keep trotting Dillon Gabriel out when the guys on the team know Shedeur is better.
All completely fair. I think that's completely fair. You're right. And that proves the point. Sorry, Davis. That proves the point that when Kevin Stefanski was asked, are you guys all in on winning in this year? He said yes. That's a lie. They're not.
Yeah. Sean, just one thing.
But don't keep compounding the mistake by being blind to the fact that you were wrong initially.
And maybe Shedeur is better than Dillon Gabriel. We'll find out at some point.
Not maybe.
Guessing.
Not maybe, Dustin. Little league, high school,
say whatever you want.
Early college, middle college, late college. Right here, October 27th of 2025. Shedeur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel.
Okay, we'll find out.
The Cleveland system needs a quarterback that can move around more. So that's why Flacco struggled, because he can't move at this point in his career, but he doesn't have to in Cincy because he's coming behind Joe Burrow. So all of the designs in Cincy are for the quarterback to get the ball out quick because Joe can't move either.
Well,
I'm just saying, to continue down the Dillon Gabriel pathway, when the guy on the team in the same draft class is better, was better, will always be better, to me is fireable.
I like how Sean King continues to stress that what Kevin Stefanski has done is a fireable offense. And I also like how he continues to stress that Shedeur is better than Dillon in all skill sets, which is another reason they should change quarterbacks to save the season, to get a spark, to save the locker room, to save the team morale, and even for Kevin to save his job. But hold on, I'm going to get to this clip on what he said about Kevin's mental state. So we finally got to the clip where Sean King is going to address or give his opinion about Kevin Stefanski's state because of this quarterback issue and not playing Shedeur, how much pressure he's under. Now, the other gentleman that you see on the screen is called, his name is Garrettbush, G. Bush. That's what he's known on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do go watch his channel, but also make sure you come back and watch my videos in the future. Okay. Don't leave me. Don't forget about this little small channel called Tony Talks Vested Up, but watch what Sean King states about Kevin Stefanski's mental state after Jared Bush asked him questions about Kevin Stefanski's ability to adapt to what the quarterback needs.
This is what I like to do. It don't matter who you are. Do you think he's an adaptable play caller? And is that and when you having younger guys, do you believe you need to be a little more moldable and shapeable in terms of what you run from week to week?
Well, to answer your question, I think Stefanski is overwhelmed. I think he should relinquish the play calling duty simply because he needs to be the head coach. I don't think he's proven that he can manage the game and call the offense at an elite level on a consistent basis. Now, should he have input? Yes. But sometimes relieving yourself of that allows you to do other things. You know, be a motivator on the sideline, like make better in-game game management decisions. As far as the quarterback adapting, sometimes you need a wild spirit. Like, this is why I think Shedeur actually might have some immediate success.
Sure, we're looking for constant improvement throughout the season, and he's done that. I mean, I think you see the growth and the familiarity of the offense and what we're asking of those guys. You know, I think the level of preparation it takes week to week, you know, when you're putting a new game plan together, you know, that's a learning curve for all rookies. So I think he's gotten more used to that, gotten up to speed, doing a nice job in his preparation and understanding what the game plan holds. And then when he's had his opportunities to go operate it, he's done a nice job. So, again,
let me go ahead and read real quick what the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator, Tommy Reeves, stated about Shedeur. He praised his work ethic and progression in learning the team offense. Reeves specifically notes Sanders' improvement in the mental aspects of the game and how he has to handle the transition from college to the NFL. So, there we go. So this is why the Cleveland Browns should definitely go ahead, let Shedeur play this weekend against the New York Jets. Dylan Gabriel, as I stated earlier, his total yards so far this season is only 702 yards, which is 35th in the league. He's also tied 32nd in the league with only 5 touchdowns thrown this year. He's also tied 39th in the league for 2 interceptions, and his quarterback rating is 26.8, which is he's sitting at the 34th slot in the league. Let's go ahead and look at his stats throughout the games. His first game was against the Minnesota Vikings in London. His rating at that time was 94.3. His rating for the second game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on October the 12th was 66.3. Against Miami, we already know that Miami was the worst team in the NFL. His numbers, of course, looked a little bit better. His rating was 89.1. But this last game against New England told it all. 65.9. But let's go back to that game against the Miami Dolphins team. Before the fourth quarter ended, Dylan had only threw for 75 yards in the entire game, only 75 yards. As you see, he ended the game all 4 quarters with only 116 yards. Cleveland Browns offense need a spark. They need a new quarterback. They need some progression. They need new life. They need life. They need life in all aspects of the team. And Shedeur Sanders will give them their life. So thank you so much for watching this video. Give me your opinions, and just know this week, if they do right by Shedeur, guess what we all go do? guess what we're going to do? We're going to take the plastic off that jersey wrapper. We're going to throw those number 12 jerseys on because Shedeur Sanders will come out of that plastic and he's going to show the world the superstar that he is. So Shedeur, I hope that your body and your mental state is ready for this opportunity. If your body can hold up and you get medically cleared to play this week, as of now, they have not deemed you as inactive. Hope you're able, your body is ready to play this game on Sunday, and we'll see you then. But right now, I'm getting ready to tear my jersey out of the plastic as soon as they announce that Shedeur Sanders will be active for this game. Until next time, tear it out the plastic.